Fresh Start with Amy Sherman is made possible in part by the Live Healthy Series, a community outreach program from Metro Health Hospital in Wyoming.
Brought to you by Metro Health's Live Healthy Series. I'm your chef and host, Amy Sherman. What brings you to the Fresh Start Kitchen today?
I am here to learn about La Dolce Vita.
Ah, my favorite, Italian life. And you know what, it's the perfect place to do it because I just got back from Italy, so I have all sorts of fresh new ideas on some great cuisine. And our focus today on Fresh Start is Mediterranean cooking. And what we're gonna do today is 3 fresh salads that you can make ahead of time and keep in your fridge so that when you have that moment of going, I don't know what to make, I don't know what to eat, it's gonna be there ready for you to grab and maybe take to work or send with your kids to school for lunch. Kind of a nice, handy, convenient food. So we have 3 salads today. One is a mushroom and farro salad that's served a little bit warm. And then we have a delicious black-eyed pea Greek salad with a little bit of feta cheese and some fresh herbs in it, which is really tasty. I'm excited to try it. And then for the La Dolce Vita, we have a beet, orange, and arugula salad topped off with goat cheese and walnuts, which I can't wait to have. It's going to remind me of Italy. So why don't we get started cooking here in the Fresh Start kitchen? Our farro salad is based on an exciting whole grain that you maybe have never heard of. You could certainly use a brown rice or a quinoa in this salad, but farro is something I really hope that you would seek out. You may have to go to a health food store to find it, but it is delicious. It's the whole wheat kernel, and it's nutty, it's chewy, it has the whole grain, so it's good for your body because of the fiber in it. But it's tasty and it soaks up flavor, and this salad is loaded with flavor, and so it's a perfect balance for the farro. This is a hearty winter salad using really heavy ingredients. We're caramelizing onions until they're nice and brown and sweet and a little bit crunchy, and we're going to fold those in. And those are spectacular in this. And then instead of meat, we're using mushrooms, 2 kinds. We're using a white button as well as a portobello that we sear off. So this salad really has lots of earthy, meaty flavors without actually having any meat. It's a great option if you're trying to cut some meat out of your diet. A lot of people are calling for us to go back to meatless Mondays or meatless Fridays, and this would be a good option and one where you're really not going to miss that meat at all because the salad is so delicious. For our warm mushroom salad with farro, we have all of our ingredients here, and one of the most important ingredients in this salad is the onion. And what we're going to do is caramelize this onion, and that is what I call kitchen gold caramelized onions. It's something you can make a ton of all at once and keep it in the fridge and add it to all sorts of different things like pasta. You can put it on top of a steak, you can use it as the base for a soup, or you can toss it into a salad like we're going to do today. So ladies, what we want to do is we want to cut our onion up. And for this salad, I would say we want to cut it into like half moons, if that makes sense to you, which it should, right? So when you're holding your knife, we want to hold it up here like this. It should feel a little bit better if you're holding it up there, a little bit more like you're in control. And I would cut off, for this we're going to cut it, we're going to into strips like this. So you cut off the 2 ends and you can peel off the top there. Now, if you were going to dice it, then you would want to keep those ends together. You can just, take off that top and pull it off. That way it won't slide around. Safer. Okay, so now you can just cut slice, 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 and then we're going to stick it into our skillet up here and let it start caramelizing. The onions are going to cook down, so the thickness doesn't really matter because they're going to really shrink down as they cook. So a little bit thicker is okay for this. And they can go right into the pot. I guess I could turn it up a little bit more, right? And your onions can go right in on top. And then one of the other things that we put in with our onions is a little bit of honey, and this just helps the caramelization process kind of kick start and get it going. So we have some honey on our tray there. We're just going to drizzle it on the top of our onions and let them start cooking. You can actually crank that up so it starts to sizzle. And here comes the honey. Slow and low, that is the tempo. And that's just going to help our caramelization process. And remember that honey is a natural sugar, so it's one that even if you are diabetic, you can have. If you've had gastric bypass, you can have, because it's a natural sugar and your body's going to digest it differently than regular sugar. And it just tastes spectacular. So while that cooks, we can cut up our mushrooms. And for those, what we want to do is slice them up nice and thin. The portobello, if we want to, what we can do is our portobello has these black gills in it right here that can tend to discolor the dish that you're cooking. So what I usually do is I'll grab a spoon and scrape all the gills out and throw them away. And then that way I'm not going to have that black inky kind of color in my dish. Now this dish is kind of already a darker brown, but we don't want it to be black. So I would say grab a spoon from the back and we'll just scrape those out and just discard them. So now we're working on our mushrooms for our salad. And you had a great question about whether you should wash the mushrooms or wipe them off with a paper towel before you use them. And there have been tests done that if you wash the mushrooms, just run them under rinsing water, they really don't pick up any water. I know that's a myth a lot of people have heard, that they soak up water like a sponge. It's not true if you just run them under water. Now, if you plunge them in water and let them sit there for an hour, then yes, they are going to absorb some. But I don't know anyone that washes mushrooms like that. So if you just rinse them off a little bit under some running water, it's going to be fine. And if they're dirty, you absolutely should do that because that's dirt and we don't want that in our food. A lot of times they come clean. You can use a little one of those mushroom brushes if you want. Your onions look great. They're starting to get that beautiful caramelization from our honey. You can see how they're turning nice and brown. And that's what we want. These are going to cook way down. So it looks like a lot of onions now, but by the time they're done, it really won't be all that many. That looks great. Okay. And then in here we can put our portobellos first. Should we do those first? Yeah. Okay, I think they're all done, yeah. And we want this to be a pretty hot skillet when we put them in here to really let them sear. Good, nice chopping, ladies. Okay, and then we can do a little seasoning on our mushrooms while they're cooking. A lot of times it's good to season while you go so that at the end of the dish you're not over-seasoning to try to make up for lost time. Our mushrooms they're looking really nice. Those are really beautifully caramelized. I like it. I think we have enough room in this pan to add these right to this pan now that I see this. I'll push these over to the side and you guys can add your white ones. It's starting to smell pretty good, isn't it? Yeah.
I would have added more oil.
I'm going to add just a smidge.
I always tend to put so much oil, but then the mushrooms are sucking it all up.
They are sucking it up, which, you know, you just need enough so they're not going to, like, stick. And then they're going to start to kick off their juice and provide that moisture that you're kind of lacking. So we can put a little, the salt's going to kick out some moisture, too. And then we'll put a little salt in our onions. Always generously salt. Generously salting is good. So while this stuff cooks, we can also chop our fresh herbs up. And we have a couple different herbs there. If you want to bring it, you can pull them up. We have green onion that we're going to add into our salad, which is a really nice year-round product that you can find easily. And then we also have, there you go, perfect. Lots of fresh parsley, one of my favorite ingredients. Remember, parsley is not just for garnish. It's also loaded with vitamin C, which is really, really good for you. And it also adds a huge note of freshness to your cooking, which is nice. And then what's our other herb over there, guys? Chives. We have fresh chives. And chives are also in the onion family. And they have a great flavor. They're going to add another layer of nice green color to our salad. And that's nice. So with our parsley, we want to take off the stem. We don't want the big heavy stems in there. A little bit of stem is fine, but not this great big woody one. And that can get discarded. And then just chop that up. And then the green onion, you can take off the end. And you can chop almost all the way up to the top. And we just want nice thin slices with that. And our chives can just be chopped up too. Good. I think we're pretty much... I think we're about ready here. All of our stuff is chopped up. Ooh, it looks beautiful. Very nice. Okay, this looks great. And those look great too. Okay, let's turn this off. I am finding the off. Okay. So, you guys, I'm going to tell you really quick, farro is a whole grain, okay? It's wheat. It's a certain variety of wheat, but it's the whole grain of wheat. Why do we like whole grains? Because they have every part of the grain, right? They have the endosperm, the germ, everything. That's the good stuff for us, okay? That's the stuff that's fiber. That's going to help us clean out our blood vessels, right? And have a healthier heart, which is what we're going for here with the Mediterranean diet. Farro is an ancient grain. So this is something that you would have maybe eaten if you were in the Roman army. You would have cooked up the farro and eaten it, right? Or what's this stuff called that they ate in the Roman army? Start with a P. Anybody know? No, it wasn't polenta. But it was like a wheat gruel. This whole grain is like any whole grain. You have to get it fresh. Because it has the germ on it still, that is the part of the grain that has oil in it, and that's the part that can go rancid. So if you are buying, your farro at the gas station where you don't know who bought whole grains there last, you might get a product that's a little out of date, and it might smell a little bit like postage stamps or glue. That's how you know it's rancid. You just got to get rid of it. It's not going to make you sick, but it is not going to taste good, that's for sure. The farro is a whole grain, like I said, so go to a reputable source. Go to a place maybe like Harvest Health where they have a really high turnover of grains, where you know people are coming to buy them there all the time. I actually picked up this farro at Costco for an incredible price. Sometimes whole grains, these exotic whole grains, are a little bit more money. That's worth it in the flavor, but this was a great price there. It's very nutty, it's chewy, and it's just something a little bit different than a pasta, a plain pasta, which is why I like it. And it's better for us because it is that whole grain. Farro cooks in water or stock, and it's about a 2-to-1 ratio. It takes about 20 minutes to cook, so it really doesn't take that long. You can also cook it and then throw it under some roasted meat and eat it that way. So I'm going to put our farro, since it was already cooked, we want our salad to be a little bit warm. I'm going to add it to the pan just to kind of gently warm it up. And then I think we have a couple other ingredients there, don't we, ladies?
We do. You want it in this one?
Yeah, we can put them in here. Here comes our fresh herbs and green onions. Beautiful. And then we have a little bit of a dressing, right? Nice. Look at your chopping action. Beautiful. That looks great.
What section is this in? The produce?
This is going to be in the whole grain section. At a regular grocery store, you might find it in the baking aisle where the Bob's Red Mill products are, the ones that come in the plastic bags. That's most likely where you'll find it in a regular grocery store, but it may be something that you have to find at a health food type store. So we have a little olive oil and balsamic vinegar, and we can put that in too. And then I think we have some golden raisins, right? Golden raisins are one of my favorite things to add to salads because it gives that note of sweetness, which is all about balance in a salad. Beautiful extra virgin olive oil. Of course, that's what we're going to use in Mediterranean cooking, is the yummy stuff. And then some balsamic vinegar. So this is La Dolce Vita right here. And then some golden raisins. One thing I always do with my raisins, which are almost always golden, is I plump them. So I put the raisins in a bowl of warm or hot water and let them sit for about 20 minutes. They soak up some of that extra water, so then they're not super, super chewy. Sometimes you might eat a salad and there might be a raisin in there where you're like, ah, what was that? This way it just kind of all blends in together, and I just like them better by doing that. Okay, so this looks delicious. Is that all of our stuff?
Yes.
Okay, we'll put a little more salt. One thing about whole grains is they do suck up salt. And then we need some pepper. Can you guys grab me a pepper? I think there's peppers on some of the tables. Isn't that pretty? Mushroom salads, are you guys doing okay? Is it looking good? Good. I say here's what ours looks like. Our mushroom salad, the ladies made it and it looks spectacular. Look at those colors. Isn't that pretty? Bright green, golden brown, and then our deliciously nutty farro. This is such a satisfying grain. So much, it's just so filling that when you eat it, you're going to be full for a long time. Whole grains, you get to process them slower, so your glycemic count will stay more level if you're eating these, since it's a complex carb. Look at how gorgeous that is. Nicely done, ladies. I love it. It looks beautiful. All right, on to the next one. We're also doing a Greek salad today. Now, I'm a big fan of the Greek restaurant style salad where you have some lettuce and some green pepper and some, olives, maybe some red onion, and that's delicious. But this one is much heartier. It's also one that you can keep in the fridge so it's ready for lunch when you need it to be. And in fact, I've been eating it for breakfast all week, and it's delicious for breakfast too. It's based on beans. We can use any kind of bean. I kind of like black-eyed peas in this, but white cannellini beans would also be really nice. Navy beans would be delicious. And we're just using convenient products in this, so we're using canned beans. So make sure that you rinse the beans to rinse off any of the soluble sugars that are in the beans, also to get rid of that extra sodium that's in the beans. It also will make the beans not slimy, so you'll enjoy them that much more. We also have orzo pasta, which is a great shaped pasta, and that's a good carb for you there. And then it has tons of vegetables in it. So we have fresh cucumbers, tomatoes, red pepper, which has got lots of vitamin C in it, and then fresh herbs. And we're doing oregano, which is a classic Greek ingredient. Extra virgin olive oil, which is loaded with good fats for your body, and fresh lemon juice and lemon zest complete this tasty salad. Our next recipe is our fresh take on a Greek salad, and this is totally unlike a Greek salad that you've maybe had in a restaurant, and I love it because it's based on some of the pyramid's base products, which are grains and beans. Beans are one of the most important things you can include in your diet, and Americans by far do not eat enough beans. So I like to incorporate them wherever I can, and a salad is the perfect place to throw some beans into. So what we have with this are some of the classic ingredients in a Greek salad. We have Kalamata olives, we have tomatoes, cucumbers, fresh lemon, feta cheese, red onion, but then what we also have is orzo pasta, which is so cute and tiny, I love it. And then we have white cannellini beans, or you could use black-eyed peas if you wanted to. And we're going to incorporate all of these with a very simple classic dressing with red wine, vinegar, and a little olive oil. That's just great. And then lots of fresh herbs. Always our favorite ingredient here on Fresh Start because they are free. We get free flavor with no calories and no fat grams. So what we can do is start chopping, and we can cut these vegetables up kind of however we want, according to our salad. But remember that we eat with our eyes first when we're making a salad like this. We want it to look really pretty before we eat, because if it looks good, we're going to be interested in it. We're going to want to eat it. We're going to be excited about it. So something like this, I'm probably going to chop everything up about the same size, except maybe I'll save one vegetable to do a little bit different. In this case, maybe the red onion. And I might slice that in like long strips, just to have a little variety in the shape of things that are going on. But really thinking about how you're going to cut your vegetables for a salad can make all the difference in the world, right? If you have super enormous chunks of onion and then teeny tiny pieces of pepper, that may not work. But if you kind of cut things the same way, it can either be like a chopped salad, or you could do them all in slices or whatever. I say we're going to chop. Now this cucumber here is an English hothouse cucumber. I like to use these because they're not waxed. So they do not have any wax on them. They come wrapped in plastic. I'm sure you guys have used these before. But the beautiful thing is then you can keep the skin on. So the skin is one of the best parts of the cucumber, really, in almost any vegetable. And this way we can eat the skin and not have to worry about the wax. So for something like this, and these also don't have the big chunky seeds in them, so you don't have to de-seed them either. So it's another part that you can eat. And so for this, I might cut this into little chunks like this, maybe, I'm thinking. And then we can do the same with the tomato, if you want to start on that. So go ahead and start chopping, ladies. Start chopping. For our Greek salad, after we've chopped up our vegetables, it's essentially putting it together just like you would for any other salad. So we have our bowl here, and we can put, why don't you put the beans in? And you can put in some of the orzo, and here's a spoon if we need it. Our orzo's already been cooked, just following the package directions. And it's probably stuck together. I put a tiny bit of olive oil on it so it wouldn't stick together. For regular pasta, you don't want to put olive oil on it because you don't need it. It makes the sauce slip off, but for a salad, it's different. So that looks good. Okay, and then we can put in our vegetables. Now, we don't want to put all that red onion in. That's way too much, don't you think? Yeah. I don't like raw red onions. So, so this batch could be mine where we put none. No, I'm teasing. I think that with the red onion, maybe we'll put it on the top. We'll lay strips across on the top or something. That might be kind of pretty. We can take our olives and cut those in half so we get more out of them. We'll set this over here. And then we'll put in our cucumber and our red pepper. Get that in there. See, when you make food like this with all these colors, it just makes you excited, I think, about eating. Makes you happy.
Like when you have summertime.
Exactly. And these winter doldrums here. I agree. Okay, so we have some of our vegetables and our beans. And we can put in our dressing if you want to pour that in. And then we're going to use, one of the cool things about this salad, I think, is it has 2 kinds of oregano in it, dried and fresh. That's a way to layer flavor in your cooking, is to use the same ingredient, but 2 different ways. Maybe sun-dried tomatoes and regular tomatoes, maybe olive oil and olives. In this case, we're using dried and fresh ingredients. Yep, and we're going to chop that up. Why don't you pull out the oregano? Can you see the oregano? The oregano's the one that looks a little bit different. And what we'll do with that is, let's show how that looks. So this is the fresh oregano. So it's nice and leafy green. And with this, we can just pull from the top down and strip off the leaves from the stem. And we don't want to chop up that stem because it's real woody and icky, so we don't want to add that. So just the leaves are what we want on this. And then with our fresh parsley, this is Italian leaf parsley, we also want to remove most of the stems from it. If we have a few stems in there, that's okay. It doesn't really matter, but we'll put in all of our leaves. Strip these, and we're going to just give these a nice rough chop and throw them in to our salad.
You want me to throw the olives in?
Sure. You're a quick little chopper there, Miss Lana. Those olives are going to add big bursts of flavor as well as that nice dark color.
Looking great.
Okay, now we're going to use one of my favorite tools in the kitchen. This is a microplane or a rasp, and this is specifically for zesting things or grating things, and we're going to zest a lemon on here. What else do we love to use on Fresh Start? The zest of our citrus. Because, again, it's a freebie. You're buying the citrus anyways, so don't waste the zest. And it's going to really give this dressing a powerful lemony flavor. And what this does is it zests very, very finely. Because you don't want big chunks of zest. That's kind of gross. You want a super nice fine zest. And you can see how beautifully fine. There it is in there. It's like feathery zest. Awesome. So I'm gonna zest this whole lemon. What the heck, right? We like lemon.
Yeah.
And you can just chop up that parsley. I think we need the lemon juice, right? Oh, and we need our tomato. Thank you. Oh, there we go. And we can crumble up our feta cheese. Okay, so then let's just put half in and then we'll put the other half on top and we plate it. Oh, I need to squeeze this, sorry. And there's our beautiful Greek salad. Looks so nice. And then we'll top it with just a couple slices of our red onion and some more of our crumbled feta cheese. You want to put a little bit of that feta on there?
Some in it. I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
we'll put a little bit more. I did throw some in. A little bit more on top. Beautiful. Beets are one of those maligned vegetables that most people don't like, probably because they've only had them pickled or canned. But it's one that I absolutely adore if you roast it. And all we're doing with our beets today is wrapping them up in some tin foil, throwing them onto a cookie sheet, and popping them in the oven at about 350 degrees until they're soft. Our last salad is a roasted beet and orange salad, and it is a beautifully colored salad. And this is something that I have had in Italy, and it is spectacular. And what it starts with is roasted beets. These are the beets that have already been cooked. All you have to do is take the beets, wrap them up in tin foil, throw them in the oven and let them go until they're soft. Now, every beet is different, so I'd love to give you a specific time as to how long this is going to take. But if they're tiny, brand new beets from the farm, they might take 20 minutes. And if they're great, big, monstrous beets from the grocery store, they may take 2 hours. I cannot predict. You just have to poke them, and when they're soft, they're soft. Let them cool, and then use your thumb to rub off the skin, and it will come right off. If you just push it off The skin will pop right off, and you don't have to peel it, and you don't have to use a vegetable peeler. The beautiful thing about beets this way is their taste. It's like they're candy. These are not like the pickled beets that your mother made you eat on your salad, okay? And they're not like raw beets that can sometimes be funky. They're sweet. Pretty good. They're really good for you too. Now we're gonna have red lips and red teeth. But this salad balances off the sweetness of the beets with the acidity of the oranges, and then the creaminess of the goat cheese, the nuttiness of the arugula, and then a little added extra health benefit and crunch comes from our walnuts. And walnuts are loaded with vitamin E as well as fiber, so they're a great thing to throw on top of salad to boost your protein level as well as some of your vitamin E levels. So it's a really great, complete salad for you to enjoy. I mean, this is fancy enough for a really nice dinner party. The one trick with the salad is I kind of recommend you don't mix it all together. The beets are going to dye everything that beautiful red color, just like my hands. And if you just place the beets on top, that way you'll still have all those beautiful whites and browns and greens and oranges with the rest of the salad. So enjoy La Dolce Vita when you eat your arugula salad today. Our 3 beautiful Mediterranean salads are finished, and it really was done in no time at all. We have our wonderful mushroom and farro salad that's full of whole grain goodness. Then we have our arugula, beet, and orange salad that's just a taste of La Dolce Vita. And then to finish is our Greek salad, loaded with healthy pasta and beans. All of these look great. I think we did a great job, and I can't wait to try them. Thank you so much for joining me here in the Fresh Start Kitchen. I hope to see you back here really soon.
Fresh Start with Amy Sherman is made possible in part by the Live Healthy Series, a community outreach program from Metro Health Hospital in Wyoming.